being on during the presentation or at the end during our question and answer, feel free to just use the voice setting, or you can ask your questions in the chat as the presentation goes on. To begin with, we want to acknowledge that the land that Burman University is located is within hereditary Indigenous land, and we acknowledge that the land on which we gather and this meeting is presented from today is Treaty 6 territory. Established in 1876, the traditional home and meeting ground for many First Nations peoples, including the Blackfoot, Dene, Cree, and Métis. Burman University is committed to doing its part to address the legacy of broken promises and rebuild productive partnership relationships between Indigenous and non-Indigenous peoples in Central Alberta and across Canada.
Hi, everyone. My name is Nicole Bartley, and I'm the admissions officer at Burman University. If you've been accepted already, you've been in touch with me. We've been emailing, I'm sure, back and forth, and we're probably a little familiar with one another at this point. So your part with me is mostly complete at this point. So if you've been accepted, most of my interactions with you are just about done, and you're ready to move on to some of the other people that work at Burman here. So I'm just going to kind of go through a few commonly asked questions usually at this point in the game. Where can I find my offer letter? So your offer of admission is sent in two ways. It will be emailed to you with the email address that you applied with, as well as it's sent in the mail as well. And so both to your home address as well as to your email address. The letter is sent from my office and from the admissions email. So it's coming from admissions@burmanu.ca. Your letter outlines it gives you your student ID number. It gives you what program you've been accepted to, as well as, if for those of you that are still in high school, outlines kind of what prerequisites you need for admission into the program that you selected, making sure that you know exactly what prerequisite courses you need to be completing while you finish up high school. To accept your offer of admission, you will have received an email from me just maybe about half an hour ago, actually, outlining your next steps to enrollment and registration. So your first step would be accepting your offer. Your next steps would be dealing with financial clearance, which Toby will talk a little bit about after me, and as well as reserving your classes and reserving your housing. So there's a link to a short form that you would fill out to let us know that you're accepting your offer. For those of you, particularly those of you still in high school, official transcripts will need to get sent in to us once you're done high school. And for those of you that aren't, that maybe have already completed high school or completed some university as well, those official transcripts are also due on August 10th. 2022. So you've got a little bit of time to get those in. If you are attending university or high school in Alberta, those will come directly to us from the Apply Alberta system. And for everybody else, you'll need to request them through your registrar's office or your school secretary or your provincial government authority. You could send those in through that way as well. So those are kind of just some common things that we get asked in our office at this point. But if you have any other questions, I'm happy to help.
Hi guys, my name is Toby Asante. I'm one of the financial aid officers at the finance office. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what to expect once you've gotten your acceptance offer as far as finances goes. And so we'll just kind of go through the different questions that we see. So one big thing that people are asking once they've been accepted is, how can I get some free money? That's our scholarships. It's all online. There's several different awards that you can apply for. You'll want to make sure you check it all out on the website. You just go on to Student Financial Services under admissions, and then select if you're a Canadian or US or international student, and it'll take you to a page where you would then select scholarships. And then you can see all the scholarships that you might be eligible for. Most of our scholarships require that you have an application and a reference. And it's all detailed there for each one. The deadlines for those scholarships are actually the first day of classes. However, I really encourage you to apply as early as possible, just so that you know your numbers going in and what you will be receiving. The scholarships that we have available are academic and leadership, athletic and music, as well as an EATS or an early admission if you applied before Feb 1. The process is once we receive a complete application, which includes typically the application and the reference, usually within 3 weeks, our scholarship committee will meet and make an evaluation of that application. And then we will notify you via email as to that you've received an award. However, at that point, we don't tell you how much. You actually have to log into your student portal in order to see that. And their student portal is going to be something that once you receive your admission letter, you will also receive another letter that gives you access to the student portal. It'll give you your logins and allow you to set up passwords and everything. And that will be your first introduction to our student portal so that you can go in and take a look around. And that's actually where you will see how much you've been awarded. Our scholarships are awarded in a 50-50 split between fall and winter term. However, you can only see one term at a time on your portal. So just kind of be aware of that when you look at it, you're just looking at one term of funding. And so you can double that to know what you're getting for the year, usually for most scholarships. Our scholarships require 2 different things for you to do to accept them. One is to complete an entrance scholarship quiz. And the quiz is on our website as well in the email that you're sent. And that just helps us know that you understand how to keep and renew your scholarships. And then also you'll want to go in through the portal under My Financial Aid, and that gives you the details of your scholarships, how much they are, what term they're for. And then there's a button there that you'll click accept and then submit. You need to do both of those parts in order to actually receive your funding in the fall. So again, I encourage you to do it as soon as possible, and you just click on that accept button and submit, and then you're good for that. So for financial clearance, there's a few different steps. I believe that when Nicole sends the admission offer out, it will include a link to a short quiz or a short form that asks questions about what your finances are going to be like. So it'll ask you, how many classes are you taking, and are you joining a sports team? Are you taking any part in music, or where will you be living? Are you living in the dorm, or are you living off campus? All those things help us give you a pretty close spending plan estimate to tell you how much classes are going to cost and your total tuition costs. So we'll fill that out, and that gets sent to our office. And we usually try to get back within 2 weeks to you. And when we respond, we will be sending you a financial spending plan that's an estimate of the costs, and it outlines everything. If you have scholarships at that point, it will include the scholarships in there, but you may still be applying for those. So we can always update the spending plan once the scholarships come in. And then there's a section there for you to sign, an initial as well. We'll also send you other documents like a financial guarantee that you'll need to complete. It'll give you links to church matching scholarship. It'll also give you a form if you have a parent that wants to be able to access your information or to be able to call into our office. So you need to release your information because you're an adult now once you turn 18. And we can't talk to anyone that you don't allow us to. So you want to make sure that you fill that out. And then there's also information on how your parents can log into the portal so that they can see the financial end of it, but allows them to be able to call our office and ask questions if they have any questions about the cost of things or charges on the accounts or credits or anything like that. So we have to have your permission to release that information. As far as making payments goes, a few different ways. You can make payments directly on the student portal. You'll go into My Ledger, which is part of the area of the student portal, and you'll click on Pay by Credit Card. and you'll just insert your credit card number. You indicate the amount that you want to pay. Some people pay by term, some pay by month, just depends on what works for your family. And you can make that payment via credit card, and it just comes straight through, and it gets uploaded to your ledger, not real time, but usually within a day or two of making the payments. You can also make a payment online with your online banking, and you would just set up Burman University as a payee, and then you can do an e-payment, and you would use your student ID number as the account number. You can also call our office with a credit card. We can do payments over the phone as well. And then for the student ledger, kind of went through a few of those details with that. So just again, remember to give your parents the access that they need so that they can find out the information that they want. Other things that you can see on your student ledger would be your taxes. That becomes important later. And then the scholarships as under my financial aid, that also details the student loans as well. And then my ledger gives you the credits and charges on the account. I think there was a question I'd seen there about interest. Yes, if you do choose a monthly payment plan, there is a 1% interest charge, and that's charged at the end of every month based on whatever the balance is at the end of the month. So if at the end of your particular month, then there's $4,000 owing, 1% of that would be $40 would be the interest for that. And that's how that's calculated. And then it just kind of decreases as you make your payments each month. So that was a good question. With regard to our, just floating back to our scholarships, we do have both entrance and transfer student scholarships. The deadlines for those are slightly different, so I encourage you to check our website out. It has the deadlines right on it as well. And then for finances, if you are an international student, while the tuition costs are the same, the process is a bit different. So if you're an international student, just encourage you to contact our office directly, and we are happy to walk you through all those steps. So I hope that helps. And if you have any other questions, always reach out.
Thank you so much, Nicole and Toby, for that information. So now we're going to step into the academic advising section of this presentation. When it's time to select your classes, where do you start? Making your course schedule can be very challenging, and we have made this process super easy for you at Burman. You will be assigned an academic advisor based on the program that you were accepted into. All you'll have to do is email them when you're ready to start the process. Classes will open for registration once this current school year finishes, and your advisors will also touch base with you at that time. They will want to know your long-term goals. If you are interested in graduate studies, working with them to determine that information, because we want to make sure that you have all of the prerequisites for any graduate programs that you are continuing on to. They are also available for consultation throughout your entire time at Burman, not just your first year. So if you are a part of the Faculty of Science, if you've been accepted into the programs of behavioral science, biology, general studies science, international health and wilderness studies, open studies science, psychology, or wellness, you will be connected with Benita Campbell. She is the administrative assistant and first year advisor for the Faculty of Science. If you are part of the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences, you will be connected with Trina Hosking, and she is responsible for the academic advising of programs such as general studies arts, international studies, music, open studies arts, outdoor leadership, and religious studies. If you'll be joining us in the School of Education to become a teacher, you will be connected with Julie Grovett. She is also your field experience advisor. So once you get to the tail end of your experience at Burman, you will work with Julie to coordinate that practicum. And finally, if you are joining our School of Business, you will be connected with Elmira Hodder. She is the first year advisor and administrative assistant for the School of Business.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tracy Ganson, and I am the Administrative Dean in Lakeview Hall. I am one of 4 deans that we have in our residence halls. And so if you are joining us in residence, we welcome you. We have 2 residence halls on campus for our first and second year and third and fourth year students. All years live in the dorm. But we have Lakeview Hall, which is our ladies' residence, and we have Maple Hall, which is our men's residence. We need to know a little bit about you before you come to live with us in our residence hall. We want to get to know you a little bit. And so before you do come to join us, we need you to register online with our form that just asks us a little bit about you. Some of the questions are a little bit personal, like what time do you like to go to sleep? What time do you like to wake up? Do you like to keep your room clean? What type of a roommate are you looking for? Just helps us figure out where in the dorm you'd be happiest. And if you are looking for a roommate, who we can pair you up with that will jive with your schedule. So you'll see on the screen here, we have the link to the residence hall application form. It's on the Burman website. That's where the link takes you to. And you're just looking for the form that's called residence application. So you'll click on that link essentially, and it'll take you to the form. You fill it out right online and hit submit at the bottom. One thing to note about the form is at the bottom of the form, there is a question that's just says any comments or questions that you have. If there's anything specific that you want us to know, you have any preferences, you know of somebody that you want to room with, for example, then you're just going to add that extra information to help us along in that last question. And you can put anything in there that you like. If you are familiar with the dorms and you know where you want to live in the dorm, we even take specific requests if we can accommodate them. And so you can pop that into that question there. All of the deans, we all have we have our individual email addresses, but we have a shared email address as well. And that is residence@burmanu.ca. And it's the fastest way to get a hold of us. So if you have extra, additional questions, things come to mind after this presentation, you're welcome to email us at residence@burmanu.ca. You can see it down at the bottom of the screen there under need more information. And we will respond to your question and just let you know about more about living in residence. We also have some information on the website about the residence halls. We've undergone quite a few changes in the last couple of years, separating into Maple and Lakeview Hall. And so our residence hall website is a little bit outdated, but we are working on that this semester to bring it back up to date. And so if you are confused by what you see there at all, just give us a call or send us an email and we'll be happy to clarify what's happening. But yes, that's essentially Maple and Lakeview are where we have our residents. We have 2 male deans over at Maple Hall, that's Dean Jeimyl and Dean Ralph. And at Lakeview Hall, there's myself and Dean Odessa. And so we are your team. And then we also have student deans in both dorms, and we have a resident assistant on every hall. So when you move onto your hall, you will meet your resident assistant. And your resident assistant, we have them both in the guys and the girls dorm. Your resident assistant is essentially the person that you go to for support, for help, any questions that you have throughout the year. And they will build your hall into a community, into a family. They'll plan events for you even on your hall. And that's where you will find, your first friends probably is living right around you in residence. When students move into the dorm, we do get to know you fairly quickly. We're a small community in the dorms, and the advantage of that is that we function more like a family all living together. And so be prepared to get to know us and to live in the community and just have fun. It's a great place to live. The dorms are full and getting fuller. We have happy customers that live in the dorms. We try to make sure that you have quiet places to yourself if you need them, that you are compatible with your roommate, that you're happy with your roommate if you have one. On the one side of the girls' dorm, we've been undergoing some renovations, and so we have brand new bathrooms. So that is one thing to note for both Lakeview Hall and Maple Hall. On the one side of Maple and on all of Lakeview Hall, our ladies' residence, you have your own bathroom, which is very unique to our campus or to our residence halls. Most residence halls have all shared bathrooms situation, but if you're living as a lady in Lakeview Hall, you have your own bathroom. So you're going to want to pack accordingly. You won't need a You won't need a trolley to take you down the hall with all of your stuff every time you want to shower. On the one side of Maple Hall, the guys have their bathrooms as well, just right off their room. On the other side, we do have some single rooms available if you don't want a roommate, but they do have a shared bathroom situation at the end of the hall, but they're beautiful. They're really nice. They've been redone. And our halls on that side aren't very big, so you're not really sharing that communal bathroom with that many people. So we find that they are underused, and meaning that you can always find a sink and a shower clean and available, and it's going well with the amount of people we have on that side. One of the questions we get asked a lot is, what do I pack to come? You're going to want to make sure that you bring all your clothes and toiletries. Just ask yourself, what do I need to get ready every day to go to school? You bring all of those things. You can bring, of course, something to play music with, although we ask that you keep it down at a certain point during the day and be respectful of others. You can bring your computer and any electronics that you have. That is allowed. You might also want to invest in a fridge and potentially a microwave if you think that's something that you would use. A lot of students, especially if you're traveling from far away, don't haul a fridge onto the plane with them. And so you can order one once you get here and have it delivered to the dorm. And or we do have some used fridges for purchase that are in good shape. So you can purchase one of those once you get here if that's something that you'd like. You can also have Instapots, things like that. What we don't allow, though, are any appliances that are susceptible to fires. So we don't allow toasters, we don't allow open flame or burners, things like that. So you have to think in terms of automatic shut off and things that are fire resistant. So the toasters is probably the biggest question that we get. And so, yeah, no, we don't allow those types of appliances, but the residence hall website, which will be updated very shortly, will list the things that we don't allow in the rooms, and of course with no open flames, no candles, and things like that. So, and no pets. The big question we get all the time is, can I have a pet? No, sorry, we do not allow anything. If you have a service animal, we do allow that, but anything beyond that, no, sorry, we don't have. We're not equipped to handle pets. That kind of brings us through residence halls. If you have any questions that I haven't covered here, please feel free to, as I said, send us an email, or if you want to pop something into the chat window right now, I can attempt to answer it quickly for you. But we look forward to having you. Please, please, please make sure you send us your information via that reservation form. And then when you walk through the door, we'll be expecting you. We'll have your room ready, and we can make sure that you settle in, and we can support you with that.
Thank you very much, Tracy. Yes, feel free to add any questions into the chat. If you do have any questions, we will have a short question and answer period at the end of the webinar. Next, we're going to step into transportation and campus security. Are you wondering how you're going to get to campus from the airport? This next video has all of the information that you'll need to book your transportation.
Hi everyone, my name is Mark Leslie and I'm here to talk to you all today about campus transportation and safety. Campus safety falls under our facility maintenance department. The location of this building is behind marketing and the enrollment building. So if you are coming from the gym and you are at the four-way stop, church on the left and the elementary school on your right, just go straight through safely, and it is the building on your left-hand side. It's a very long white building, so really you shouldn't miss it. The director of this department is Darren Bishop, but the smiling face that you will see when you visit there is the office manager, Kayla Streicher. The man in charge of campus safety, however, and transportation as well, is Ron Ramke, also known as my boss. We had a few night security guards who patrol around the school. They include Danielle Placide, Iani Debolet, Eric Bendlam, Fred Muilma, Courage Nyathi, and yours truly. The people usually driving for Burman Transportation are Jerry Butler, Art Kapinak, Yvonne Kapinak, Gordon Simanton, Stephen Van Resburf, Norman Nordhoff, and Vivian Thompson. Now, you may use Burman Transportation for field trips, sporting events, club events, banquets, skiing events, off-campus events, and as well as an airport shuttle. To book transportation, you will need to go online to www.burmanu.ca/transportation. If you need a shuttle to or from the airport, go to the website and you'll be able to book it from there. Make sure you read the airport shuttle service policies and fill out the airport shuttle form for reservations. Once you fill it out, make sure you submit it. You will receive an email from transportation with a copy of your responses. You will then get another email from Ron Remke to confirm your shuttle reservation. If you do not get the confirmation email within 2 business days, make sure to contact Ron Remke. If you plan to park your car on campus, please make sure that you register your car. If you don't, and I'm speaking from experience, you may get a ticket. To register your car, go to www.burman.ca/security/parking. Click on the parking registration button and register your car. You have a couple of options for what type of parking pass you will need.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jeimyl Rullamas, and I'm a third-year biology major, and I'm here to talk more about QQuest. So I am part of SWAT, our student welcome affirmation team, and we help with QQuest. So what is QQuest? QQuest stands for Complete University Experience Quest. It is Burman University's new student orientation program. So what can you expect from attending QQuest? You'll receive information about what you need to know about Burman, such as the dorm address for you to ship all your Amazon packages to, how scholarships work, and what Burman represents as a school. You'll get information about resources available to you as a student. So for example, information about our Sakala Success Center will be shared. You'll be introduced to the team and learn more about resources that are free, such as tutoring and drop-in counseling. You'll get to know more about our campus and the departments you will be a part of. So you'll go on a campus tour and even a department tour of your program that will be led out by one of your future professors. There are workshops and breakouts for you to learn more about yourselves and others. So remember, there were talks about time management, money management, which is really important for me personally, and how to make the most of your university experience. You'll be able to engage and bond with Burman faculty, staff, and students. And so this was the highlight of my QQuest experience because a lot of the students that I met for the first time there became my friends and are still my friends up to this day. And we even do a retreat at a camp where we do some really fun activities such as kayaking, horseback riding, sports, and icebreakers to meet new and old students. So the dates for QQuest are August 29 to September 3rd, 2022. And you can register by going to www.burmanu.ca/QQuest. And there you will find a link to register. I can't wait to see you all here at Burman University.
Thank you, Jeimyl, and all of the presenters that we've had this evening. Again, feel free to enter your questions into the chat or jump on camera if you are comfortable. A reminder that we are recording this session, or you can just use the voice setting for your questions if you would like to speak to us directly. I'd like to direct you to our social media sites. We would love to connect with you on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. You can take a look and see what kind of things are happening on campus right now. We do also have live streaming for a number of our events, whether it's athletics, music, our worship programs. Definitely connect with us. You can find more information on our social media sites as well as our website. And this is the team of people behind this webinar this evening, aside from our lovely presenters. Iwanette Stewart, the Director of Marketing and Enrollment, Tennille Perron-Pelly, the Enrollment Manager, and she is your enrollment advisor if you are coming from Eastern Canada, the Eastern United States, or international. And myself, Christina Lister, and I am your enrollment advisor if you are a student who is coming from Western Canada or the Western United States. Please feel free to ask any questions. I'll hold on this slide for a little bit to give you an opportunity to ask your questions, again, whether it's in the chat You can send something privately or in the public chat, or you can jump on camera if you would like. All right, we've got a question. Would you advise your students to dorm or live in an apartment off campus instead? Dean Tracy, would you like to take that question?
I'd love to. We definitely advise you to live in the dorm. A couple of reasons why, though, not just because we want you, but there are some practical reasons to live in the dorm. So firstly, if you are a first or second year student, it is required that you live in the dorm when you first come to us. If you are third or fourth year, or you're an older or mature student, you can look for a place to rent off campus. When you do come to campus and you live in the dorm, I think the greatest advantage to you is convenience. You're right on campus. The campus is quite remote. And so if you are renting someplace and you're off campus, then you do need transportation because it is too cold to walk. You won't be wanting to walk to and from your place. And so if you do come with transportation and you are an older student, then yeah, looking at rentals is something you can do. But you do save quite a bit of money living in the dorm, and our dorm accommodations are fabulous. So you're living well if you're living in the dorm. The other thing too that I think really helps students is when you first come, if you're new to Burman, you're going to make friends if you live in the dorm, and you're going to establish, your community, and you're going to get to know people. If you came to the campus and you were to move off campus directly, it's really tough to get to know people. It's tough to find your group, and you miss out on the dorm activities. We have a full social program going on in the dorm at all times. There's events every single week. There's dorm worship at night. None of it is mandatory. You can pick and choose what you want to attend, but it is a thriving community. And so it would be a shame to miss out on that. And our dorm prices are substantially cheaper than trying to rent something in the community as well. So financially, it makes good sense to start off in the dorm as well.
Thank you so much, Dean Tracy. Feel free to answer that second question that just came in. Do majority go off campus after the second year? And then I'm going to ask Toby to jump on and answer about the pricing when it comes to the dorm.
I would say actually, when we get to third and fourth year, we did have a sizable amount of our students at one point moving off campus, but more and more we find that our students are staying in residence. We have our residence halls separated so that we have a side for first and second year students, and this is in both dorms, a side for first and second year students and a side for third and fourth year students. And so we kind of group you according to your community. It doesn't mean that people can't room together if they're from different years, but we do try to keep our halls for our mature students or for third and fourth year students a little bit quieter if they are looking for that, and just put you with your peers essentially so that you stay together. It just really helps with retention in the dorms if you are staying with your peer group. And we find that the freshmen, when they get there, they're pretty excited to be there, and so we like to contain that energy with their floor. We do have quiet sections for even first and second year students though. So, it kind of depends on your personality, back to that original registration form as to what you're looking for in your dorm experience. But we do find that by the time you get to fourth year, you're really wanting to buckle down and have that quiet time. And so we make sure that we have sort of that section of the dorm a little bit quieter, but you're still with your peers. So to answer your question, I think more and more we're seeing students stay in residence, which is really encouraging for us because it means we must be doing something right. So I don't think it's uncommon to say that people are staying in the dorm for third and fourth year.
Hey guys, so I was actually just frantically looking for my amounts because they just put together the new spending plans. So those kind of details will be itemized on the spending plan when you go through and request one. But just as a rough estimate, I'm just looking here, it's under $3,500 a term. And that includes your rent and all your food. And our food works on a per item basis, but for the most part, it will include everything that you'll need to eat and live for the term. And then there's a room deposit of $450, and that's refunded to you when you move out of the dorm and left in good condition. I guess Tracy probably can answer the changing rooms part.
Yes. No, it does not cost you money to change rooms. When you come, if you come and you're with a roommate and you decide that you do want to live on your own, that would be an upgrade, obviously, because we have one of you in the room instead of two of you. The difference per month if you're living on your own is about $200, but then you have your own bathroom just for yourself, which is pretty nice, and your own room, obviously. So that would be the only upgrade if you were changing rooms. But if you're just straight up changing rooms in the dorm, we don't charge you anything. You would just come and let us know, and we would help you move to wherever it is you're wanting to go. We have people that change rooms all the time.
Wonderful, thank you. I will give a few more seconds to ask any questions in the chat. If you do come up with questions after the session, oh, there's another one that's popped in. I'll just continue my thought. If you do have any questions that pop up after this webinar this evening, please feel free to reach out to your enrollment advisor based on where you are coming from as a student. We'd be happy to answer those questions for you, set up a time to meet with you virtually to answer any questions that you have. Are there any strict COVID precautions apart from masks similar to those in high school? Who should I get to answer that? Is this just in general in terms of the campus, or are you looking specifically in the dorm? Both. Okay. Tracy, can you chat on the campus, or I guess the dorm? And then Jeimyl, would you be able to give us just some insight on what campus life has been like in terms of COVID restrictions? Thank you.
Sure. So in the dorms, currently we do have students wearing masks, but only in our common areas. So I know that there have been other colleges and universities that do require masks if you're leaving your room. We require masks if you are just heading out into the lobby in our general area. This may change. We are situated in Alberta, Canada, and our provincial guidelines are constantly changing. Obviously, none of us know what the future holds, but in the near future, we are, as a province, looking to open up things a little bit. Now, I hate to, promise that, obviously, because I have no control over that whatsoever, but things are looking like they're going to open up. And so in terms of the guidelines that we follow provincial guidelines. And so our provincial guidelines at this point are saying that we may be moving even to a maskless environment where we're not requiring masks, only if you're wanting to wear a mask. So that is looming on the horizon. We're hoping for, more normalcy as we go. But currently, at the moment, we're just restricted to wearing masks in the dorms. That's about it.
So yeah, in terms of campus life, like Dean Tracy said, it's constantly changing. But as of now, during our classes, of course, we're wearing our masks when we're in common areas. But there are a lot of times when you don't have to wear a mask, like for example, when you're working out at the gym. I play on the volleyball team, so of course we don't have to wear a mask while practicing. And even working out in the weight room, we don't have to wear masks. A big place that a lot of students study is the library. And it's really nice because we got a new library. I don't know, you guys should watch the virtual tour or whatever. It's so cool. But yeah, there's like a bunch of different study spots and even study rooms that you can go in, like I am in right now, and you don't have to wear a mask. So yeah, it really just depends. But in common areas, of course, wearing your mask to stay protected. Yeah.
Thank you both for those answers. Again, last call for any questions in the chat. If you do have any questions that come up after today's webinar, please touch base with your enrollment advisor and we'd be happy to answer those questions or direct you to the person who can answer that with more information for you. All right. If there are no other questions, we want to thank you so much for joining us this evening for our What's Next webinar, and we hope to see all of you on our campus this coming fall. Thank you again. Have a great evening, everyone.